Chainsaw Man is a series full of mysterious characters, but the most incomprehensible of them all may be Fumiko. Because unlike the others, her mystique doesn't come from her schemes or terrifying displays of power, but rather it comes from her personality. Fumiko has shown to be kind and compassionate at times, but cruel and sadistic in others. The most unsettling part about Fumiko isn't just that she has contradicting personalities, but how quickly she can switch from one to the other without an obvious cause for this transformation. So what is up with Fumiko? This video will contain spoilers up to the latest chapter of Chainsaw Man, which is chapter 189 at the time of recording. Fumiko was introduced as Denji's handler, sent by Yoshida to keep an eye on him and to prevent him from turning into Chainsaw Man. While Denji didn't appreciate this invasion of his privacy, he seemed to have gotten along with Fumiko despite the circumstances. Fumiko was playful and bantered with Denji, but more than that, she poured her heart out to him and revealed that her family was killed during his fight with the gun devil-possessed Aki. She then declared that she is a fan of Denji, not Chainsaw Man, which is meaningful to Denji because this is the first woman that seemed to value him for who he is instead of his other half, especially during a time where Denji was conflicted about his identity. On the other hand, Nayuta was distrustful of her. It could just be that Nayuta was overly possessive of Denji, but she claimed that she can smell women who are bad for him. And she was proven to be right. While Nayuta was defending an unconscious Denji from an angry mob armed with spears, Fumiko abandoned them. However, if you look at things from Fumiko's point of view, what she did here was actually kind of justified. When the chainsaw apocalypse happened, Fumiko gave Denji two pieces of advice. First, to not return to his apartment because members of the Church of Chainsaw Man are going to be camping there, waiting to ambush him. And second, to not turn into Chainsaw Man because confused civilians will mistake him for another chainsaw zombie and attack him. And she was right on both counts. Barum and his weapon devil allies were lurking near Denji's apartment after setting it on fire, and nearby civilians did attack Denji the moment he turned into Chainsaw Man. But despite being ignored and despite Nayuta's attempt on her life, Fumiko still came back to help. Her team was killed in the ensuing chaos, but even then she tried to calm the frenzied crowd, to little success. Up to this point, Fumiko seemed genuine in wanting to help Denji. She gave him good advice and put herself in danger to assist him, which is what makes her behavior afterwards so puzzling. It's understandable that she would leave Nayuta, considering that she's done all she could to help. But her parting words to Nayuta were to make fun of her recently deceased pets and to encourage her sarcastically. It's a complete 180 from just trying to reason with the angry mob moments ago. Fumiko's next appearance is after the public safety sector had apprehended Denji. She joyfully asked Yoshida for permission to collect Denji's hair and nails. Some time later, when Pochita emerged from Denji, Fumiko had a sales pitch meeting with Japan's most powerful politicians in an attempt to convince them to sacrifice 10,000 children to the aging devil. So there are two sides to Fumiko, one that is genuine but cautious and concerned, while the other is manipulative, psychopathic, and doesn't have a care in the world. In the latest chapter 189, Fumiko lays on the ground on the verge of death, missing many of her vital organs, sacrificed to empower the aging devil. However, to the shock of even the aging devil, another Fumiko walks into the room, completely unharmed. This Fumiko gets the original Fumiko to sacrifice herself so that Yoshida can be freed from the aging devil's realm. Which is strange because up to this point Fumiko has been sacrificing parts of herself to help the aging devil. So again, what is the deal with Fumiko? How do we explain her constant shifts in personality and the fact that there is another one of her? Reddit user Antiderivative made a post about a month ago listing some narrative contrasts between Asa and Fumiko. It's not the first time that this idea has been brought up, but this post is very detailed in its comparisons, covering the differences in their appearances, personalities, preferences, and motivations. Asa wears twin tails on the back of her head, while Fumiko wears hers on the front. Asa dresses modestly, while Fumiko wears more revealing outfits. Asa hates fish, while Fumiko enjoys sushi. Even more convincing is that some of these parallels happened only chapters apart from each other. Asa comes up with a poem about her romantic feelings towards Chainsaw Man, while 2 chapters later Fumiko sings about sex and lust. Asa hates the idea of casual physical intimacy, while Fumiko endorses it. And finally, Asa stated that she wants to save Chainsaw Man, while Fumiko wants to save Denji. So what is the point of these parallels? Well, it could tell us what Fumiko really is, as well as the potential future of Asa and Yoru. In recent chapters, Yoru has started to be more comfortable in Asa's body, taking not just ownership, but pride in it. She cursed the aging devil for turning her elderly and momentarily ruining her beauty, forgetting that this beauty isn't really hers to begin with. So how is this relevant to Fumiko? From Yoshida we learned that the girl on the ground is referred to by Fumiko's name. If this girl is the real Fumiko, then who is the other one? I think Fumiko is in a similar situation to Asa, where they share a body with a devil. This devil slowly becomes accustomed to the real Fumiko's traits, making them her own until the time of the original Fumiko's death, where she splits into a perfect replica, retaining almost all of Fumiko's physical appearance. It would explain a lot about Fumiko's inconsistent character. If we were to witness Asa and Yoru's constant switching of control over their body from another character's perspective without having access to their inner dialogue, I would imagine that it would be just as confusing as trying to decipher Fumiko's personality changes. Fumiko, when telling Denji about her experience of his fight with Aki, was able to recall details that only those who were there would know. So she probably wasn't lying about that. But Asa and Yoru's fusion began with Asa's death. Assuming that death is the key to begin this transformation, then the real Fumiko probably died once already. So instead of surviving Aki's rampage by the skin of her teeth, she may have died that day alongside her parents, before being revived by the devil that now has her appearance. Fumiko doesn't have the same scars on her face to indicate the persona changes like Asa and Yoru do. But remember that the scar is a product of Asa's first death. So if Fumiko was originally killed by the gun devil, then chances are that there is a bullet scar somewhere on her chest. There is also some extra content around Fumiko and the idea of the number 2. Volume 19's cover depicts Fumiko showing a peace sign, which can also be a 2, while the inside cover shows her leaning to the side in a 2 o'clock position. And when she introduced herself to Denji, she was also holding up the peace sign and said that she was 22 years old. This really doesn't confirm anything, but supports the idea that there are indeed 2 Fumikos. So what kind of devil did the real Fumiko merge with? The biggest hint we have right now is her eagerness to be on the side of whoever is more likely to win. So perhaps a devil around the idea of losing. At the very least, I would guess that it's a devil based on an intangible idea instead of a physical object. But more importantly, Asa being in the same situation that Fumiko is in may have dangerous implications for her future. The final evolution of their form could be the devil leaving the host during its death, carrying on as a carbon copy of the original. If this is true, then we have a pretty good idea of how Asa's story might end. Yoru's separation from her is a Chekhov's gun waiting to be fired. Part 2 of Chainsaw Man deals with the ideas of copies and imposters, the real, the fake, and the line that blurs between the two. And Fumiko is one more representation of this concept. Thanks for watching. Because of the unpredictable nature of the series, I may be proven wrong as early as next week. But you can watch as I discuss these ideas on my weekly streams on nights when new Chainsaw Man chapters are released.